Hey, all you holistic hipsters out there, it's that time. So grab your chalice of choice and sit back and sip along with us. We would love to welcome you to the Tea Podcast, where we spill the tea on all things holistic in the pet grooming industry. Let me introduce you to our hostesses with the mostesses.
She is the socialite of skin and coat care, Ms. Michelle Knowles.
And the queen bee of all things oily, Ms. Melissa Conti-Diener. Brought to you by TheOilyGroomer.com. Are you searching for a new and more mindful way of grooming? Interested in understanding how to grow your grooming business with a more holistic and organic approach? Please contact Melissa Conti-Diener at TheOilyGroomer.com so that you can set up a meeting and bring balance and prosperity to your life. And AllThingsPaw.com. Intermediate and advanced courses in pet esthetician work, fear recovery, animal handling, and more. Get your learn on with All Things Paw. Also, classes with Melissa, online and self-guided, intuitive energy work, transitional therapy, and compassionate touchpoint therapy, and more. And the Herbal Paw Pet Apothecary, tailored for the individual pet, phone consultations, history gathering, and the home of the Herbal First Aid Kit.
Now, let's get the tea party started.
All right, here we are. Here we are again, Melissa.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Do you have your teacup this morning?
I have a really, really great one.
Do you have a good one? I'll do mine first because mine's boring but straightforward.
Okay.
Mine is my favorite Queen Bee cup that Erin has gifted me. I just don't have the crown on top, the steeper. But inside is what's left of my raspberry leaf because I am always fighting some sort of something with my womanly charms. I need that raspberry leaf tea.
So, I feel that so much.
Yeah. So that's what's in my cup with a little honey and just straight up raspberry leaf. So it's beautiful, and it has all the little floaters in there from my honeycomb.
That's the best, and you can read the leaves after you're
yes, absolutely. So what's in your cup?
Okay, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm. Let's spill it. Oh, it's a little mushroom.
Is that not the cutest?
That's adorable. And for those that don't know, Michelle is like the queen of mushrooms at her home. She grows mushrooms, so that fits you perfectly.
And inside I have my the base that I love. It's got clove and cinnamon and calendula and chamomile. And today I added cardamom and a little bit of mullein to help get my lungs clear. I have been under the weather for the past week and a half, and it's been rough, but I feel much better. And I think I cut my time into a 16th of what my husband had experienced. I think it's because I drink a lot of tea. But we are getting his cough under control. But yeah, this is adorable. I got this from my crew at Spa La Paw. Shout out to Spa La Paw. This was my Christmas gift.
Woo,
from
that's
them.
an awesome gift for Michelle.
I know. It's so cute. I love it too. And it's just tiny. It's just like.
Yeah, it's perfect. I thought for sure you were going to tell me it had reishi in there.
No, I usually take those in capsules, or I'll brown them so they release. They have to soften the chitin. A lot of people don't know that mushrooms are made out of the same chitin as like insects. Their structure is like that, and our body won't break that down. So we have to help it by either extracting it in alcohol, hot water, a hot oil in the pan. Something has to help break that down so our body can get the nutrients out of it. But basically, yes.
Pretty much what life does to me. Just pour the hot water over me. It'll soften.
All right. So basically, our what do you call it? Our topic.
What do you call it? You know, the thing that something that'll keep us straight and on the narrow here.
Our topic is in sickness and practicing health.
Yay.
So I know a lot of people are absolutely going through the ringer right now. It's cold in a lot of places, even here in Arizona. It's dropped down. We get frosty temperatures. I'm going to say around 30 degrees.
We've had the hard freeze.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I did finally have to take all my tomatoes off the vine. So the rest of them are absolutely getting ripened in a paper bag with a banana. And so, yeah, but I think everybody's under the weather, and we've got a whole new year to explore all the wonderful flus and whatnot that the world can bring us. So we just decided to maybe talk about, even when you're sick, you can practice health and support your body when you're going through the thick of it.
Absolutely. But even if you take precautionary measures, so that if you are at work and you're working, or even if you're not in a salon environment and you're in a home grooming or whatever, you're still coming in contact with people, and how to just shield yourself somewhat from those creepy, crawly germies that are everywhere. So I know where I work, it just went around like wildfire. Everything was out, and then they would be back, and then out again. And so it gets a hold. But I think it's important that we first and foremost actually talk about maybe the difference between just general cleaning and also disinfecting and sanitizing, which our friend Angie Coates does an amazing job on teaching that. Yeah. So,
and I think in addition to that, though, go ahead. Go ahead. I think in addition to that, and I think that's what a lot of people don't think about, is that, you're sanitizing everything and you're keeping everything clean and this, that, and the other, but at the same time, you should be supporting your immune system.
Yes.
So you can't have one without the other. You can be in the cleanest environment and be so sick because your immune system has been depressed with the things that it's trying to deal with. So supporting the immune system is of the utmost importance, especially when you are sick, not just before or after, but absolutely during.
Yeah. And a lot of the products that we use that are just over the counter stuff to clean the air, those air fresheners and all those holiday candles and all that stuff, they have chemicals in them that are known immunosuppressants, as well as bronchial restrictors. Right. So, understand that. I know a lot of people go, I don't understand why I'm coughing or I'm sneezing. And meanwhile, they have 12 candles burning. So, be aware of that stuff, that the products.
People have to understand that candles are actually made out of petroleum products.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not only are you burning the petroleum in the wax, but you're also burning the fragrance. So, I mean, that's like a double whammy, and they're burning everywhere. And another thing that I think people don't think about is run a little humidifier in your bedroom while you sleep. Yeah. The more dry your mucous membranes get, the less they work. So they're just drying out, just like the skin. If we wash our arm with alcohol every day, it's going to dry and crack and become infected eventually. It's just not going to be healthy. So just like we have to keep the outside of our skin really supple, we have to keep our mucous membranes hydrated. Yeah. And right now I'm running a humidifier at night with distilled water, just because I don't want to breathe in whatever's in the tap water. Yeah.
So you can get the little shots of the saline too. Just the
Mhm.
saline water that just goes up
Oh,
your nose.
yeah, and they've got
That's
neti
right.
pots and all
Yeah, the
kinds of
neti
things to clear out
pots.
your stuff, but just in general, because neti pots weird me out too, because you can
That's
actually
fine.
flush the stuff back into your nose, or if your water isn't distilled or clean when you
Right.
boil it, it can introduce, something into your sinuses and give you an
Bacterias.
infection.
Yeah.
So, although they are good, you have to be, a trooper about cleaning them out, sanitizing them, and then using the proper clean water, to use
I
in
have a
that.
problem with pots. I like them. I actually have used them before, but I actually have to use the child neti pots
Oh,
because
yeah.
for some freakish reason, I was assigned little teensy weensy baby ears and a little tiny baby nose. And my nostrils are so small that I can't fit the thing in, the little spout in my
Mhm.
nostril. So I
Yeah.
have to get the child one.
Well,
It's
you're
just one of
delicate.
those things. Yeah, certain parts of me are. But I do feel like sometimes when you have that deep congestion in your nose where you feel like you can't even get anything to move around, those actually help a lot.
And if you
Um,
can breathe still, if you still can push air through your sinus passages, one of the best things to do is take a dandelion and a mullein tea, make a
mm,
tea, and then just drape your head with a towel and breathe in the steam, and that's going to loosen everything.
right.
Another one is if you go on YouTube and find those binaural beats,
Oh yeah,
the binaural beats, and wear some things. There is one, and I'll put the link in after this. This is being seen Thursday, I believe.
yeah.
But I'll put in the comments of this the link to the one I use. You can feel your sinuses just breaking up, and you can breathe just within the first 5 minutes. It has like a little clicking sound, and when it clicks like that, and the binaural beats are going, it literally breaks up all that congestion. It's fantastic.
Well, it's
So that's what.
vibrational frequency that's
Yeah,
that's coming in through your ears, which are connected to your sinuses.
absolutely,
So it's
absolutely.
working that way. My daughter and I just had a conversation about specific plants to keep around to help keep the air clean in your home or in your shop. Or she's a florist by trade,
Sure.
so and she deals with not just flowers but foliage as well. And so we were talking about quite a few different plants that work really well. Plants in general are designed to clean the air, but certain ones do more. Um, Rosemary is a really good one to keep around, and it has a fragrance to itself that if you just go over and pull some of the little needles off of it, because it is in the same family as like the fir and spruce and pine.
Mhm.
Um, and
It's a
just
coniferous.
Yes, it's coniferous. Thank you. And so it will, the oils will come right out on your fingers, and
Mhm.
you can just smell that, and it will help open up. I actually make a sinus balm that I call my sinus bomb, BOMB, and
Mhm, mhm,
it has
mhm.
rosemary and peppermint and sage and a whole bunch of other stuff in there that really just throws a grenade at your sinuses, and it works really well. So we have a lot of plant-based stuff out there that you can use, that you don't have to use the over-the-counter um, uh, petroleum-based products that are just going
Mhm.
to
With
clog
all
up.
the preservatives and all that
Yeah,
other stuff in there. Yeah, and I think it benefits the pets too when you do those natural things. You can even, we've discussed before, you can even, diffuse mullein tea right
yeah,
into the
yeah,
air. So not only are you putting the moisture, in the air, but also the mullein component that helps clear up your congestion. It is an expectorant,
yes,
which is what you want. A lot of people are trying to suppress their coughs, but coughing means there's something in your lungs that needs to come out. That's why the action happens. So if you
right.
suppress that, you're actually keeping yourself with fluid in your lungs and all kinds of phlegm and all other stuff. I went into the store the other day just to check. they actually have a cough remedy that's an expectorant and a cough suppressant. What does that even look like?
What is
But
that?
why?
Yeah.
But why? Right? So weird.
So does it work differently on different people? Maybe
I don't know. I don't know
that's
how
really
you
great marketing.
expectorate out of the lungs and suppress the cough. Are you just
Yeah.
gonna lay upside down and drain?
I know. I was like, does it just flow right out of you?
Right. Oh, I
Weird.
have a funny story about rosemary that reminded me. When I worked in a big hospital, I was mixing up some rosemary into something, and it was like a big Econo bottle. And one of the techs came in and was talking to me, and if you talk to me, I start gesturing. I literally gestured the open bottle of rosemary onto the counter, and we laughed and laughed. The entire hospital could breathe so good that day. You could smell it on both floors, all around. It was hilarious. I'm like, did you see what I just did? He's like, yeah.
Same. I'll do the same thing. I'm a gesturer. I work with my hands. I talk with
So
my
dumb.
hands.
So dumb. I was like, yeah, blah, blah.
I have a class. We just started a new class of 2024. And so we have 6 students in, we're in a smaller classroom. And so we're all in there together. So I always, even when I only had a few students in there, every day I start my day with specific essential oils mixed in with some witch hazel, and I spray the room. I just walk around and spray the room, and then I turn the oscillating fan on so that it just makes it blow through. This time of year, it's usually always, the mixture with peppermint and some others that I just feel like they actually help break down that heaviness. When we have the heaters on too, that
just dries out everything.
Everything. And it also helps if it is bacteria, the heat helps it kind of proliferate in the air. If it is viral, they love a nice warm environment as well. Mm-hmm. So, it's important to like air things out as well, like open the door and open the windows. Obviously, if you're in a salon environment, not while you have pets in there.
Right. But if you're afterwards and you're doing your cleanup, just air the place out before you open, before the first dog gets there, air the place out. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's good to get some fresh air up in there, right?
Well, because a lot of us just, even though we are not particularly snowed in, but holy Mary, it is a mess out there.
Well, it's dusty. We don't deal with snow, but we deal with so much dust. So many people like, oh, we're going to move to the desert because we've got, all these allergies to ragweed, this, that, and the other, blah, blah. They don't understand. This area is so toxic with dust. Yeah. It's just crazy.
And then
dust is everywhere.
And then we have the big haboobs, which blow in, which are the huge dust storms. Mm-hmm. That leave layers of dust everywhere, sand, just so it is an interesting climate to live in. I've been looking at some of the pictures, like Chris Pearson had put a picture of all the snow, and oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful, but no, thank you. My old bones.
Oh, I lived up there, and I'm telling you, I'd be hard pressed to ever go back. Even there's people there that I love and would like to visit, but I'm like, gotta be spring or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what when I was talking to my daughter yesterday, we were actually discussing this actual topic, like how she can keep well, and it's cold, and they just had that ice storm, and it just is horrible. And it's like she was like, I wish you were coming out here, and I'm like, not till spring. And not until anything thaws out. No, thank you. I mean, I miss my daughters, but it is too cold there in New York. I just can't. I love to do it in the springtime. Even in the beginning of the summer is really nice. But no, thank you to old man winter and me. We don't get along at all.
No, too cold.
Yep.
So,
what's your number one go-to when you start to feel the yuckies, coming on. Like, I think all of us have something that it's our first thing that we go to when that itchiness in your throat, or that runny nose, or the all
I
the
go
telltales.
straight to my tea.
Mhm.
I'm going to call it my mead mix or my mead tea, because basically it's what you use to spice wine during
Right.
Christmas time. It's all of those spices. They're very warm, nourishing, congestion relieving, cough
Right.
suppressing, all the things that you need to just be better. And they're all very nutrient rich. And I think that's why they made grog or wassail in the winter,
Right.
because that's what everybody had, those issues. So that would be a good way to use those herbs and get your humidifier out and stop eating processed foods. If you eat a lot of processed foods, I'm not saying don't eat them, because that's your choice. But if you do eat a lot of processed foods, pull back, get some chicken broth that you make from bouillon, so there's not a lot of stuff in it. And
Or
then just
bone broth.
your bone broth. Just, think about just making your own food while you're sick, your own soup. It is so easy to throw water in a pan, some bouillon,
Yep.
and throw some
It's
mushrooms and some little
veggies.
pieces of chicken and little pastas if you want, whatever you like in a soup. That would be excellent. And that's what I think of when I'm like, oh, we're feeling under the weather. It's time to start nourishing and supporting the immune system. So whatever may come, at least I've got the best base possible in which to navigate the illness.
Right.
So.
I mean, I'm a vegetarian for the most part, pescatarian occasionally, but for the most part, I'm a vegetarian, and I still in the winter do a lot of broths. Bone broths, you can get organic bone broth. Even at Walmart carries it in the glass jars. So it's
or you could go to your butcher and get some bones and just make your own bone broth.
Exactly. It is a little bit more, entails a little bit more. Like, I just usually don't have time for all that. It's like my favorite tea in the winter is the Celestial Seasonings, and it's the Bengal spice, which is all those spices that you're talking about. And it just is very warming and very soothing to the respiratory system. So there are products, if you're not able to make things up, or you're just not inclined to do that either, there are products that you can get in your local grocery that can help you through this this cold winter months and keep you healthy. We do the same for our dogs. Actually, we give them bone broth on their food, or I'll make. I do a lot of food prep in the winter. It just is easier to pull, and it's mostly soups and stews, that kind of stuff, things that warm your body. So, and my crock pot is my best friend. I keep saying I want to get what's the hot pot thing? The pressure cooker one. I can't think of what it is. Oh, I bought one for one of my daughters for Christmas because she was wanting one. But it's like a pressure cooker, and you can make all sorts of stuff in that as well. So they have some really cool kitchen gadgets nowadays that make it a lot easier to make your own things. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite soup or stew or something that you really like?
My favorite soup in the whole wide world is broccoli soup. And it's funny because literally the way my mind works, I don't like broccoli with cheese on it, but I'll eat broccoli soup, which is what? Broccoli with cheese on it. It's so dumb. Like, if I want steamed broccoli, I'll put some cheese. That's disgusting. But if you up the cheese and cream factor on it, it's a win.
It's good. It's good.
It is. And I do like making my own chicken noodle soup or whatever.
Right.
I love that. And it tastes so delicious. It's much cleaner. It does. If you make your own soup, just throw in the ingredients you want, let it simmer till they soften, and drink it up and eat it. It's so good and so easy. I don't know why.
I can't even not add that stuff to even like a packet of ramen. If I
Right.
make ramen, I don't make it in the microwave. I make it in a pot, and I have to throw in celery and onion and a few carrots and some green onion.
Yeah, just whatever it is that you like. If you don't like
Exactly.
carrots, don't put carrots in it. You know what I mean? And it's so good. And I also like the what's their name for it? It's bean soup. It's Oriental bean soup. You know
Oh,
what I'm
miso.
talking about. Yes.
Miso. Yes.
Yes.
I got
Miso
you.
soup is I know you do. I know you do. Miso soup is very warming and very
Yes.
nourishing as well. So that's also a really good flavor and so easy to make. Get some paste, get some chicken broth or whatever base broth that you like. Throw the stuff in there, stir it up. A little couple of snow peas. Girl, so
It's
delicious.
great. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of making my own homemade soups.
Mhm.
Chicken. I just don't put the actual chicken in, but I will use the
Right.
bone broth. And
Yeah.
I'll throw all the veggies, or I will use a organic vegetable base. It's a bouillon that I think it's called Better Than Bouillon. So
Mhm.
it's like more like a liquidy paste. It's almost like
Yes.
pudding consistency ish.
Mhm.
So I'll use those. I really like those.
Mhm.
And then I love any kind of pasta. I'm an Italian through and
Mhm.
through. So don't let the blonde hair and blue eyes fool you. And
Well, Italians are European. Sorry to
yes,
say. So.
exactly. Well, and my father's mother was from northern Italy, red hair, freckles. She
Mhm,
actually
mhm.
looked Irish or
That's
German.
indicative of that area.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know.
So, but I love any of the cheese or spinach tortellini or the little mushroom ravioli.
Oh,
That
that
kind
sounds
of stuff.
delicious.
Yeah, those are my favorite to just throw it. Yes, throw it in the
I'm
broth.
wiping my mouth.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I love, of course, because I love pasta, I love bread. But I'm very, and especially with my pasta, even, I'm very aware that I do not buy pasta that is made here in America unless it is made without the enriched wheat or the, bleached out wheat.
Mhm.
Most of my stuff that I buy comes from Italy,
Mhm.
and is distributed here.
Mhm. A lot
So
of times you can go to AJ's Fine Foods or your equivalent in your area. We have AJ's Fine Foods. You can go there and find those imports very easily. They're a
Yep.
little bit more expensive, but I mean, if you want something that is made the way it tastes over there,
Yes,
you can absolutely
it
get
is.
you can find it in certain places. I happen
And
to live right next to Lily's too, and I get all the Asian
Oh,
food.
yeah.
Yeah.
We go there often to the one on the east side,
Mhm.
and which is, for those of you that don't know, is a huge Asian marketplace. And we go there. We'll get a lot of our vegetables, and they carry vegetables that you wouldn't normally find
Mhm.
at
And
your regular.
fruit and
And fruit.
mushrooms that you
Yep.
wouldn't find in a grocery store.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's awesome. So if you have those things and you're able to to access those kind of grocers, that specialty things, I love it because not only is it, you never think of India as Asia.
Right. It is
And
absolutely Asian.
Asian, right? And it is. It's
Uh-huh.
absolutely Asian, and so they have their own section in those Asian
Mhm. Oh,
grocery.
they've got Indonesia, they've got
Yeah,
Sumatra, they've got like all
yeah,
kinds of
all kinds of
all
cool
kinds of
stuff.
island food, that you
Yeah.
just normally wouldn't get. And I think it's an absolutely wonderful place to shop.
I just love to roam in there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
always like, and I'm with my phone and I'm Googling, what is this? And what do you use this for? And, so it has, there's so many different things. And if you're interested in teas, they usually have a really good assortment of different types of teas also
Mhm.
from Asia.
Mhm.
So I've tried several different. I got black pepper one
Mhm.
time, and then of course from India. Oh my gosh, my favorite! I bought a beautiful rose tea that was just so. To sit and just hold it and breathe that in was just
Mhm.
a mood booster.
Mhm.
It's such a relaxation thing.
Mhm.
Which has a lot to do with your immune system.
Mhm. You want to hear something weird? This is a fun fact that has nothing to do with anything, and it is
But tell us it.
it's peculiar to my sense of smell. Anything that is not like a rose distillate or true or an actual rose that I'm smelling that is meant for scent, all of it smells like feet to me. Is that strange?
But that's
I
your
also
body
I
chemistry,
also
though.
can't drink white wine for the same reason because I can smell the metal it was aged in. It's disgusting.
Oh, okay.
It's so gross. But there's a handful of white wines that were like oak finished or
Right.
something that takes that metallic taste out of it. I could taste it. All
Right.
y'all people drinking your white wine, I'm like, you are drinking metal. That is all. That is all that is.
Everybody's body chemistry is different.
Absolutely. And
And
what do
their
we say all the
palate- their
time? When
palate is
you are
different.
attracted to a scent, you need the nutrients from that. But if it repels
Exactly.
you, you don't really need what that plant has to offer.
Right. That's always a big one because I have some people that are like, what did you spray? It's killing me or whatever. I can't stand it. It just smells horrible. And then other people walk in the room and they go, oh my God, it smells so
Exactly. Another one too is sorry, Gain detergent. That literally, this is my opinion only. Gain detergent smells like horse pee.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so gross. It's gross. Other people are like, "Oh, this is And I'm like, I can't. If you are clothed in clothes that have been washed in Gain, I can't even stand next to you. Like, and it's not you. It is me. It's the way I'm interpreting the smell in my brain. It's so nasty.
I use those wool dryer balls. So I put scent or essential oils on those and toss them with my clothing. And one time, and I love patchouli, which is another one. Bless you. Which is another one that is. Some people love it. Some people absolutely abhor it. You know, they just can't even be around it.
Well, I think the connotation of patchouli has been kind of hurt. Its rep has been hurt because
Yes.
a lot of people wear it to cover up scents that they should probably be washing off, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's just been overused so much that it has a different association because I think patchouli smells amazing. I really enjoy the scent.
It has a very earthy dirt kind of smell.
Yeah.
It's not flowery, and it has a specific scent. And my husband drives for a living, so he's a driver, and I had those dryer balls in there, and I had done my clothes and they had patchouli on them, and then he threw his things in there, and he had more people that were like, what cologne? Either they loved it or they absolutely were like, oh,
like,
what
are
is
you
that?
roll down a window? I think a good alternative for patchouli is probably dragon's blood.
Yes.
That is just a nice, it's an earthy tone, but it's not like wormy earthy. It's just like outside, foresty, if you will. Yeah.
So there are a lot of different ones that you have to kind of be gentle to the other people around you when you are finding those scents that work for you.
Yeah.
But scent has a lot to do with elevating your immune system. So if you are, and so does your mood have a lot to do with elevating your immune system. If you feel depressed or you're going through a period of depression, it's also depressing your immune system is also feeling
Absolutely.
that. So, and we have that a lot in the winter months because the sun is not there. And that vitamin D deficiency really kicks in. For a lot of us, especially women, as we get older, we wind up with a vitamin D deficiency just because our bodies aren't processing things the way that it used to. So it's important for us to utilize herbs and even supplements that can feed that.
Right.
And then when the sun is out, get out. You know, that's why it's important to go out and to ground yourself outside. No, don't go out in the snow in the bare feet. You will be coughing and sneezing. But once that sun comes out and spring comes back around, get out there and barefoot, walk in the grass and ground yourself, ground your energy back to the earth, Mother Gaia.
Yeah,
It's very
absolutely.
important. Um, I just saw this guy on Instagram that I follow. He did an experiment. He did an experiment probably in the 80s about how shoes disconnect us from Earth, obviously,
Yes.
from the connection to Earth, and how that actually affects our immune system and our moods and how we even process information. And so he did this whole, of course, I don't remember what his name is, but he is a scientist at Harvard. So, and that was like a basis of one of the thesis that he did. And so now he just did another one where he took a grounding wire, copper, and placed it in the ground outside of his window, and then took that wire and wrapped it around the leg and the part of his bed where his bed is, and grounded his bed. And
Oh, I remember these studies. Yes, I know what you're
yeah,
talking about. I don't know
and
his name either, but I know. And he literally grounded his bed and slept like a baby and healed at
yes,
the same time.
and healed. Like, he was sick and had a cough and had, all these things. And by grounding it, within, days, he was already feeling better and sleeping so soundly and waking up without that brain fog. And so it's amazing how much nature has to actually offer us and nurture us that we don't know about.
I agree. And if you notice, I've got two little chihuahuas who can go in and out of their dog door, and they actually have a porch before they go out into the gravel, and they also have an overhang. But some of the porch is in sunlight, and they will seek the sunlight, not to warm up, but I'm sure it is to warm up. But UV rays actually kill bacteria and fungus and whatever. So they're actually having an antifungal, antibacterial treatment every time they lay in the sun. And the electricity thing that you were talking about, the grounding, I actually tried this for the last season, 2 seasons, the last spring and then this winter, wrapping copper around wooden stakes and putting them into my my grow bags. I grow everything in pots, basically grow bags, to see if that had any merit. And I'm telling you, I had the best growth this season that I ever have had. And sometimes when you walk up to it and you brush against the copper wire, it will give you a static shock, which tells you that it's feeding, nourishing, and grounding the plant and being a part of the earth, because that plant needs that to be healthy, as well as the nutrients that go in the soil. So yeah, I believe there's huge merit in that method, and grounding and putting your feet on the earth and being charged and grounded in the earth is very important. We live in the land of kitty litter and gravel, and you're hard pressed to find grass that isn't all pesticide-y. I have let a little patch of grass, because sometimes when you grow your mushrooms, you have to have grain. Well, I wash all that outside. So little grains have started a little grass patch, uncultivated. But I let it grow, because sometimes I'll take my shoes off and stand there while I'm looking at my garden, and you just feel rejuvenated. You feel more connected to the earth.
Yeah. Even when I go up north, my husband he likes to fish. I mean, I'll fish, but I'm no fisherwoman by any means. I'm more want to walk through the woods and want to just sit in the pine needles up north. We have a lot of pine trees up there, and just sit and just kind of put my hands on the trees. Yes, I'm a tree hugger. I will hug a tree, and
they're alive. Why would you not greet them?
Right. And I just feel I feel like, to me, I feel that stabilizes me and my energy. And I feel like I can slow my breathing down. It's just a wonderful way to meditate and just kind of pull myself in and join into the actual breath of the trees, because we know that they breathe. And so that's just an easy way to just kind of step into that. Now, with that being said, I have never in my entire 56 years ever been camping. So that's my extent of experiencing, the wilderness. I'm a city girl at heart, but I know that this is a way for me to just recharge and rebalance. So you don't have to be an avid fisherman or avid camper or any of that stuff to just go do that.
Mhm.
You know, he'll usually fish at a lot of the national parks, and we have some beautiful national parks up north.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of nature there that that sometimes I'll bring home pine cones. I'll pick wildflowers. If it's allowed, you have to ask if it's allowed. Sometimes you can't remove things from national parks. But for me, they're just little reminders of that while I'm back into my, suburbia life.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things that you can do, and that brings me joy and brings me happiness, which elevates my immune system. That makes me not feel depressed and not feel like, or a lot of people say they get cabin fever in the winter because they don't go out. So as opposed to, some people love to just stay in,
Mhm.
and that is a refuge.
Mhm. I think my dream home would be shaped like a big square, but a huge atrium in the middle, so I could be outside without having to go outside.
Right? Yeah.
Like those little inner gardens. That would be
Yeah.
so neat.
Yeah. Those are so beautiful.
I kind of have that now, but I only have a house on one side.
Well, I think that if I had my dream, I would just go outside and look at the ocean, because the water I'm a fixed sign, I'm a bull, I'm a Taurus, so I'm a fixed earth sign. So water is very much soothing to me. I just connect very, very deeply with movement, like the water, the sound of water, the movement of water. And I think it's because I'm such a fixed person. I'm a bull through and through. I don't do things like fast. I'm stubborn in my ways. I like to do things my way, and water has to be very very creative in the way that it works through things, so and patient.
One thing I was reading the other day that has to do with, you like the moving water. Moving water is important. They did measurements. I saw this study. They did measurements on bottled water, still water,
Right.
moving water. Did you know that water that hasn't moved in a while is dead? And the way to rejuvenate it is even a bottled water. Put it in a wide mouth jar or something that's wide, or a bowl even, and take a metal something and start swirling it, and the motion will re-energize the water and make it living water again. It's so crazy.
Nice.
That's why animals seek out running water,
Right.
because it's alive. Water running through your pipes will absolutely make a charge against the pipes. That's why a lot of pipes rust out.
Right.
Because eventually that electricity that's running through all those fixtures will weaken the joints. So running water is alive. So if you drink a lot of bottled water, you're like, yeah, I drink water. You're drinking kind of dead water. So swirl it, make that whirlpool action in it for a couple minutes or whatever, and you will then rejuvenate that water and then drink it. And I think you'll it tastes better. It feels better. You absorb it better. But make sure you have your magnesium levels are correct, or the cells will not pull the water in. So you're just basically processing water through the kidneys.
Right.
So it's super, super important to make sure you're getting enough magnesium.
Yes, and that's my issue. That's why I drink the raspberry tea all the time, and I drink other hibiscus is another one I drink a lot. Because as a diabetic, I always have my kidneys are always very angry at me, and I don't get enough water in throughout the day. So it's a constant battle for me to keep that water balance inside my body. So that's another thing to practice, is if you're hydrated, you're less likely to get sick.
That's true. And just remember that it's not just water. Your body is a battery, and like any battery, when you pour water in it, it has to have electrolytes in it to make that
Right.
action. So you are chemistry in motion all the time. So if you're just drinking a ton of water, just like if you water a plant that's in a pot, but you never feed it, the plant will die, even if you're watering it plenty, because it doesn't have the nutrients to uptake, and it's just being rinsed instead of
Right.
being an
Fed.
electrolyte that the plant can take up and be healthy and use as food. So if you drink large amounts of water, absolutely make sure that your electrolytes are in a good ratio so that your battery is at its top physical condition.
And all those hydration, they have these. I've purchased them before at like the health food store. Now Costco has them. They're called like super hydrators and blah blah. And you add them to your water, the little packets, and they have a salty taste to them, and that's because they're putting those minerals in there, and salt, which your body needs to actually do what it needs to do with the water. And it's not just running through your body and through your kidneys and out. So it's, it is an important part. And you can just take a little bit of that pink salt or
The Celtic sea salt is probably one of the better ones, even over Himalayan salt. Now that I've done a lot of research on it, Himalayan salt is lovely, and it has a lot of nutrients, a lot of micro minerals. However, the Celtic salt has the three kinds of magnesium you need to actually become hydrated. So I switched over to that, and I'm feeling a huge difference.
Are you?
Yes, I think, and it's a softer salt, and it's
Okay.
not a salty salt. But
Right.
if you've been using Himalayan, that's not an issue with you anyway, because that's a very light tasting salt anyway.
How do you feel about the sea moss? That's something that
I love sea moss.
Yeah, I've
Yes,
been
I
taking
love
that
sea moss.
lately.
I have Icelandic moss and I have sea moss as an herb that I use in some of my tinctures. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I've been taking it internally, and I actually went through a almost like a detox. I noticed
Well, it is used in chelation.
right.
So it will remove heavy metals, help remove heavy metals.
Right.
And also zeolite is all the rage now. Zeolite, it's in the dog shampoos. It's coming out because it is a good heavy metal remover. However, there are some cautionary things about zeolite. Zeolite's a type of a clay, a volcanic clay. It won't absorb through human skin, but it will absorb through dog skin. So you have to be very careful of that because it thickens the blood. It can cause blood clots, especially if you take it internally.
Right.
So you just have to be aware. And of course, anybody can sell you any kind of clay. Like, you can get zeolite clay from several different sources. Some are cleaner than others. So again, it's a cautionary tale to make sure you trust your manufacturer of where you're getting your ingredients, your herbs, your shampoos, whatever.
Right.
So
yeah, it's always something that like every year they come out with some new thing that's supposed to be the thing, the it supplement or the it this or that, and then all of a sudden it's being put into everything. But just because it's in there doesn't mean that it really works that way, that it is something. I was talking to a couple of people that I work with, and we were talking about probiotics and about taking probiotics. Some of them had been sick and they had been put on a Z-Pack, the antibiotics. And they were saying, how do I know what to actually take? There's so many different kinds of probiotics out there. And so I just was trying to explain to them that when we take something orally, it has to go through all the stomach acid. And a lot of it doesn't survive that. So when you are taking them, you want to make sure that they are made to be able to survive that it's in, if you're taking it internally. And that's why it's important to eat things like real yogurt, like real like Greek yogurt, which is very high in the lactose bacilli. Bacteria, which is good bacteria. So your gut health has a lot. That's why you were saying try to eat more whole foods and stay away from the processed things, because your gut health is also going to dictate what your immune system is going to be able to do.
Absolutely. And not only that, when you eat processed food that's in a box and you heat it up in the microwave, microwaves kill all the nutrients in food. They
Right.
kill all the good stuff in water. There was in that same study, there was, they tried microwaving water and then had just regular tap water. And they had 2 plants bought from the same nursery in the same environment, but they only
Right.
watered one with microwave water and watered the other with the tap water. The microwave watered plant died within 3 days.
Wow.
That's how much life is actually in water. Everybody
Yep.
says water is inert. Water is probably the memory of the whole planet. It is
Yep.
powerful, but it has to be circulating. It has to be alive. And when you're eating processed food or microwaved food, you're actually killing your gut bacteria. It kills your gut bacteria, all the chemicals that they use to preserve it and things like that. And another point to that is that if you just eat yogurt and this, that, and the other, if you don't feed that bacteria and keep it alive, just like you're making sourdough, you'll kill it all again. So
Yep.
if you want to, the most gentle way to nourish that those bacteria in your gut, your good bacteria, is to feed it with nourishing burdock, nettle, and dandelion. Even if you just drink 1 cup of tea of those things a day in the morning, you're going to feed your gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria is going to be well fed and healthy, so that when you do try to digest anything you put in your body, it's going to be there as a force for you.
Right.
So you have to actually take care of the plants and animals that live on you, basically, is what I'm saying. And it's not just one thing like, oh, let's try zeolite. Oh, let's try cranberry juice. Oh, let's try this new thing. What cream? How many times do we get inundated? Well, how are you doing that? What shampoo are you using? It's not just shampoo. It's not just a cream. It is the
Right.
entire holistic view of a multi symbiote, which is what we are. We're
Yeah.
only, what did they say? Somewhere between 0 and 20, 8 and 24% of us is human. The rest is literally other cellular structures of other, flora and fauna that live in and on our body.
We are
So we have to support that whole system. We think of ourselves as one
one
thing,
whole thing, right?
but we're not.
Right.
We're a composite factory of many things working together to make us ambulate and talk and move and think and store memory and energy. So you have to think about it in a holistic view. It is absolutely, we are a symbiote of different things. And we have to feed the plants and animals that are on us. We already come with pets. We already come with a zoo, if you will.
Well, because when that goes out of balance, then you have dis-ease. We're in ease when everything is in balance. When things are out of balance, it becomes disease. And so we have to restore that balance. And that's very hard with our lifestyles today. It is very, very hard to do. And it's hard because a lot of us don't want to do it. It's not easy. It's not fast. It's not fun. It's not sexy. It's, it is, do I want to make a pot of bone broth, cut all the vegetables, do all that stuff? Or like McDonald's just released their double Big Mac. So it's got 4 patties on it now. And it's
why?
Because it's
why?
fast and it's
Why?
easy and it tastes delicious. So it's like, and I, because that's what we're used to. You know what I mean? And so we're very easily manipulated into falling into those patterns. So we have to check ourselves and we have to say, okay, I did the fast food route. It was a super busy week. You got to give yourself some grace also and say, that's why I'm going to prep and I'm going to make this stuff so that when I get home, I could just throw this little thing in this cube of soup into the pot and let it warm up. Don't microwave it.
Mhm.
You know, put it in
Warm
the
it up
pot.
on the stove. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't
And
think there's anything I use the microwave for anymore.
yeah, I
I
very
just
rarely use it.
yeah, because every time I open the door and put something in, I'm like, okay, whatever this is, I'm killing it.
Killing it. Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
so
So it's important that you take care of yourself. You give yourself some grace. We all do it. We all fall prey to, you know, the
us too.
craziness. Yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Every time, every once in a while, I'll turn around and look in the mirror and I have got Cheeto dust on me. I'm not going to lie about it. And it's not right. And I'm not proud of it, but it does happen.
Exactly. But it does happen. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no, this is not a we're preaching we're better than you and we do
Absolutely.
all
We're stumbling through just like everybody else.
Yeah. As I'm putting it in my mouth, I'm going, you should
This
not
is
be
wrong.
eating this. Yep, this is so wrong, but guess what? I want it.
It's true.
It
It's
is.
true. But you know what? The more we become disciplined and the more we understand how those processes work, just like dog skin, and people, dogs are the same way. They are
Yep.
a small portion of dog, and the rest of them are flora and fauna, just like every living animal on this planet.
I'm
and it's
better
really
at
important.
managing my dog's nutrition than I am my own.
Absolutely. It's easy for me to tell somebody else, no, it can't have that. That's easy.
Yeah.
Seriously, but this is me I'm talking about. I want it. Maybe I can train the dogs to come over and smack stuff out of my hand.
Exactly.
Not for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Well,
That's
it
it.
is if you don't laugh about it, then you cry. So it's better to just laugh about it and look at ourselves. We're all human. So
It's so true. It is
none
so
of us
true.
are perfect. So
Yep.
we are nearing the end of our hour, Madame.
I know.
Already. This was a good topic. This was good.
I think so too. And I think it was easy to talk about and
Yep.
easy
We
to
just want
absorb,
everyone
hopefully.
to be well. We want you to be well, mentally well,
Absolutely.
physically well, and be joyful in what you're doing.
Absolutely. This year is going to be great. And I know a lot of people approach it with like a negative attitude. And I'm like, you know what? The year's going to come anyway. Why spend negativity? Just love what comes and think of things as challenges instead of obstacles. It's going to be good. You have the power to make it good.
Yes.
And take a sip, and may your next sip
Yep.
be just as delicious as your last. Thank you so much for joining us.